Your life experience, good or bad, is a gift when you share it with others. At Taxi Chronicles, we allow real riders with real stories to share their gift. So hopefully this episode will intrigue, enhance or inspire you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have the honour to have a lady who understands about scars and surgery. But we're not just going to talk about that. We're talking about beauty, influences and many other things. So today we'll call her Sally. And nice to have you here today, Sally.
Nice to be with you. And thank you for the opportunity to, participate.
Okay. So we were discussing about scars.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you needed to cover up your scar.
Yes, I'm going to have laser now just to, help to blend it a bit more and make it more flat, more uniform with the rest of the skin, less noticeable.
Okay. Is it a painful process?
Yeah, it's painful. Actually, it is painful. It does take a few days to heal as well after the laser.
Mm-hmm. So and do you have to go again and again and again?
I've gone to someone, who specializes in scar treatment. I think there isn't that many people who do specialize. So that was, I think, Dr. Hussein Asif, and that's in Central London. The treatment is a little bit more expensive, but at least you know that he's, specializing in scar treatments, that he's going to get you results faster than anyone else. Other people have quoted, like, I need 8 treatments, 12 treatments. But with him, within the first treatment, I've noticed a huge improvement. So this is just my second appointment.
Okay. So this is not done on the NHS?
No, I have to pay for it from my own pocket.
Does the NHS, do they provide a situation like this, or does it have to be if it's on your face or something?
I think only if it's like a huge part of your body, if it's on your face, because if they deem it to be cosmetic, then they're not going to fund it. So you have to fund it yourself. Usually, the NHS, they only cover things that are life-threatening, and even like any skin conditions, scalp conditions, you're going to have to buy it yourself. Any headache pills and all of this. Before they used to fund that, but now under the conservative government and everything, you have to pay for everything yourself now.
Okay. So how do you feel about that?
I know they're trying to, get the country out of debt and all of that, but it does feel worse, it does feel worse. And, back then my university degree was also paid for, so I didn't, I had minimal debts when I graduated. I had a £1,000 grant per year, and I had my tuition fee paid for me per year. That was like $3,000 a year, because back then it was only $3,000 a year. And then I had $4,000 student loan per year, so I kind of graduated with like $12,000 to $13,000 debt, which I cleared already. And it was easy, but now when students graduate, they've got like 40, 50K. And if you're doing a master's program where you had to retake a year, then it's up to 100,000 K. How is anyone supposed to repay that?
Mm-hmm. Maybe they don't want us to study.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, maybe they just want only the privileged people to be able to attain it. And now it's 9,000 per year, the tuition fee. I don't know. They just made it really exclusive or something,
Okay,
very difficult. Before, at least with Labour, they were being fair, and whoever has the desire to do a degree, and they can keep up with completing committing to a 3-year program or 4-year program, even if you came from really, really humble beginnings and humble background, or even a family that's kind of like, I don't know, they're not very, they're all just on benefits for generations or something like this, but you want to break the cycle, you want to make something of yourself. At least the opportunity was there. So those people from poorer backgrounds, they funded, you get your tuition fee paid, you have a grant on top of that. So it made it accessible for you to change, your predicted life, what people would think, like, okay, your parents were on benefits, so you're going to be on benefits, your kids are going to be on benefits. At least they allowed you to break the mold, get a degree, even though your parents may not have had the degree, to change your perspectives in life.
Do you know that was it Google, Apple, and Tesla all say you don't need a degree to work for them.
Oh, that's good. But I don't know how their interview process is. I'm sure they'll give you some sort of like tests and stuff to see how capable you are and how intelligent you are, or I don't know.
do you know what? I think it's either Microsoft or Apple. One year they put up a poster, and the poster was just like a calculation, an algebra, and it was like on billboards. And everybody who solved that at the end would get opportunity to do an interview. So when they did the poster, it's like, understand this, email us. So basically it was emailing with the answer. And that was a very ingenious way of getting the best people to the interview. Because everybody else who saw that just drove past. Do you see what I mean? But the thinkers, the people who will study something in their own time, grabbed it. So that was very. I remember you don't have to have gone to uni to be able to work that calculation. It's just about your performance, about how you look at things.
But you know, like the degree that I have, like I had an 11-year career and everything. But now after I became a mother and everything, my job, I work in the laboratory as a biomedical scientist. So that's a 24/7 service, because ER is open during the night and they're doing blood testing through the night. People can have heart attacks in the night, so of course it's a 24/7 service. So it's not family friendly, because most of the time the jobs, they're not part-time, they're not just 9 to 5. It's going to be evening shifts, night shifts, weekend shifts, all sorts of shifts. It's not suitable when you have a small child. You need to take them to school and you can't sleep during the day, as you would if you were single or something like that, or maybe had more family support. So now with that degree, if I want to now get into, say, teaching, because teaching is more family friendly, at least it's more normal than biomedical science, I don't need to do another bachelor's degree. You just do like a 1-year PGCE program, and you can get into teaching. Or just a training, ITT, I think is initial teacher training, to get the QTS certification, which is qualified teacher status, which you need in the UK in order to teach. So it can be all just hands-on training at school, or hands-on training at school with some modules at a university to then get PGCE qualification. This is like postgraduate certificate in education. So with my degree already, because it's based in science, I can go into teaching science at maybe secondary school. So you save this degree, it saved me time if I want to now change my career and get into teaching. I'm kind of looking at doing that.
But I hear what you're saying, and I'm not against degrees, especially in certain industries, medical and stuff. But when someone turns around and tells me they're doing a business degree, I think you could go on YouTube and learn about business if you watch videos all about business all day. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Learn about what people have to say from the great minds of Warren Buffett.
Even things like, I don't want to get any hate or anything like that, but sometimes when I see people doing things like art, or you know what I mean, I sometimes feel like you could study that by yourself, but it's more like a leisurely thing, like something that you enjoy doing. It's like a hobby. I'm not sure how you make a career out of it, but you'd have to have natural talent, I think, to go into art. And if you didn't have natural talent, understand how you would then get a job in art if you're not good at, say, painting or something like that.
Well, there is a government website called Arts Jobs, and there's all jobs relation to art that you can go on there.
Maybe things like, maybe they restore paintings or something, because you don't really need that much skill when you're restoring paintings and stuff. Maybe it's something to do with this. I'm not 100% sure.
There's a creative element that you can develop on, that people can teach you. There are different styles, there are different things to why they do things and how they do things. So I think that plays a big part.
Maybe I was just jealous of all the art students because they always had a lot of time I think they only had like 1 or 2 classes per week, and they were always, going to the malls and stuff, and like the shopping centers and things like that, and the town centers. And I don't know, they always looked like they're really enjoying their university life and having time to go shopping and eat out, meet friends, and just take things leisurely and really enjoy attending their lessons. While our one, it was 5 days a week, almost the whole full day. It was like non-stop. It was exam after exam, essay after essay, write-ups for labs. And I tried. There was times where I enjoyed it when it was slightly slow paced, but to be honest, it was full on. It was just too full on. It was too much information as well, compact in 3 years. I didn't get to enjoy my degree. I was probably jealous of those history and media and art students.
Why did you pick that degree?
Because my father wanted me to become a doctor. Like typical Asian people, they want you to become a doctor or something like that. But I wasn't really happy to spend that many years, and plus I just felt that I didn't have the passion to be a doctor. And so when I discussed it with my college teachers, they said just do biomedical science, because that will get you in the lab. It will get you in the hospital. So every day you're going to the hospital, so your dad will be proud of you that your work is at the hospital. But I guess you could be a cleaner and still go to the hospital every day. But that's what she said anyway. That's what one of my teachers said.
Happy with that?
Unfortunately, he actually passed away before I graduated.
But you told him what you was gonna do.
Yeah, I was very excited, and I told him that I'm going to do, biomedical science. I'm going to university. I've been accepted, and I expected that he would be really happy for me. But we have like a slight problem in our culture. Basically, my father, there wasn't really any smile or anything on his face. He just said to me, women don't need to study that much. Basically, he had plans to marry me off, basically. This is their culture. They try to marry you off when you're very young.
Married now?
Yes.
So you did get married off.
But I didn't get married to, I didn't actually comply with them, because I didn't think the people that they were proposing to me with or matching me with actually matched me in any way, because they were from back home. They didn't have qualifications and things like this.
Back home?
Bangladesh.
So they were uneducated.
Yeah, and it's only because they're like cousins or some sort of relative that they want to just bring them over to the UK to get the
They wanted you to marry your cousin.
Yeah, like they're like maybe like like distant cousins, any relative, because it's like a business transaction. They just want that person to get the passport and to become British and to come to this country, and they think once you're here you're going to just be rolling in money and you'll suddenly be rich, and they'll be sending all that money back there, back home, to build big mansions and things. But I didn't think any of them were suitable. I wasn't attracted to any of them. They were not educated or anything to my level. In no way did they match me. I'm not asking for something that I don't already have. I'm asking for the man to at least match me, in my qualities.
I agree with that. I think a man should match or be above.
Yes.
So with that cousin, knowing your cousin kind of thrown me a bit.
I know, I'm also against it, because I've studied science, and you can, your kids can have like genetic defects and things like that, and it's not everyone has that. But I have watched a show on YouTube, and it says cousin marriages or something like this. If you type something like that, it'll probably come up on YouTube. And I think a lot of Pakistani people do that, because that documentary was based on like the Pakistani community in Birmingham. And they said it has a very there's a high percentage of Pakistani people coming with inborn error of metabolism and genetic defects for their kids. And the majority, the highest percentage was, the occurrence was in the Pakistani community. But when they tried to interview them, they just didn't want to they didn't want to admit that there's any link. They said that it's in Allah's hands, it's in God's hands. Whatever happens, we don't believe in any of that. But it's like hit and miss. You're taking a risk. You could end up with a whole bunch of kids that have a genetic defect. There was one family that all 6 kids were deaf, they were blind, and they seemed to have some sort of mental problem, because they were crying and moaning, and
then that bill goes to NHS.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because there were doctors and stuff at the hospital, and they were interviewing them, and they said, yeah, there were many, of the Pakistani community coming in with all these, problems, and one boy, he had to take some sort of medication to prevent any more, damage happening, because he couldn't process a certain food, and that there was like certain protein or something building up, causing that damage, irreversible damage in him. So he had to take a specific medication to, I don't know, help him to process it or control it or something like that. And I just thought, when you think about the kids, do you really want to put them at risk like that? Can you, see child after child being born with these type of, conditions?
do you think it should be something that's against the law?
I think that there should be genetic testing made compulsory, because I worked in Saudi Arabia for 5 years, and Saudi Arabia has the highest rate in the entire world for having, genetic defects in their kids, is because they marry within their own family, not even with their own citizens, like own Saudi citizens. It has to be like, this is that to that level that a lot of families only marry within their own family name. Like Al Rihali will only marry Al Rihali, and like Al Johani will only marry Al Johani, and so Johani and Al Rihali, they can't marry each other, sort of thing.
Is that like what they have in India with the caste system?
Is it clans? It's like, that's your family clan. You're somehow related by blood to all the all the Al Rihalis are somehow related. It's like a huge family. It's like a clan, and then all the Al Johanis, they are a clan, like that basically. So they want to keep their property and their wealth and everything within their clan. So they just marry each other.
So it's money before health.
Yeah, but they have a genetic testing process there that you have to, like, when you matched up to get married to someone, the couple, before getting married, they need to go and have genetic testing and see whether they are at risk of producing children who might be, with all these illnesses and things. And it's, but it's not compulsory. So that's the sad thing about it. They should have made it compulsory. So these people, even some of them, they did the testing. They were told that your children would be, have genetic defects, but they still went ahead with it because the ultimate choice lies with them. So I just felt it was a little bit selfish that, you put your children's, lives at risk.
But yeah, it is. But they're motivated by money, then I can understand.
It's not like they loved each other, or, I know that woman and I'm dying, and like, I really love her, and, we had a relationship. Well, you can't just tell me not to marry her. They are complete strangers to each other because they're arranged marriage anyway. So if the genetic testing wasn't successful for them, and, they could at least be rearranged with someone else, maybe another member of their clan. I just felt, maybe, but, a lot of people, they didn't understand the genetics to that level.
Did you get married before your father passed away?
After. I did what I wanted to do. So I didn't choose anyone that my mother chose. I didn't choose anyone that my father chose. And then my late father passed away. Then I completed my degree.
Did you go on Tinder?
No, it wasn't Tinder. I went on singlemuslim.co.uk.
Yeah.
But I have to say that website, it has, degraded quite a lot. There's a lot of people just wanting like flings and like, girlfriend, boyfriend type of relationships, and they're not serious. There's a lot of people who are married already and they're just looking for something on the side. So I wouldn't really recommend that website, unfortunately.
Okay.
I've used muslima.com.
So it's single Muslim?
Yeah.
So it's regardless of your race, as long as you're Muslim, you can go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there are some people who advertise, like, not advertise, but when they're writing their profile, things like, I drink alcohol, I'm very relaxed, I don't pray, I wear whatever I want to wear, like mini skirts and everything.
Oh, that's women saying that.
Yeah, and even men as well. And you think to yourself, then that gives you the freedom to go to, like, Tinder, like he said, or there was another website, what's it called,
Match.com.
Yeah, and there was another one. There's many other ones.
Hinge.
Yes, so they can go to those ones since they're not that religious. It didn't have to come to singlemuslim.co.uk because maybe, I just felt that it should be for people who are actually practicing,
Mm-hmm. I suppose on the Muslim one they could have, I don't know if they do it, I've never been on there, they could have what type of Muslim are you? Traditional, contemporary?
Yeah.
or extremists, not in the kind of terrorism.
They have that. They have it like strict,
Yeah,
moderate, relaxed, and not practicing.
not practicing. But then you're not a Muslim, then really, if you're not practicing, I would say, isn't it?
Yeah. I did come across some, profiles. I was thinking, but you're coming to a Muslim website, most of the people's requirement would be that minimum that you are practicing. So you wouldn't get that many people interested in your profile. So it's like, it's not really worth it to make a profile on there in the first place.
But then I say it's a bit like when, excuse the term, someone sends a sexual photo to another person and they get offended. But or some women I've heard, they say, listen, I keep on getting dick pics from men. But I say to her, you've got to understand this. There's people out there who don't have a problem with it. Otherwise, these men wouldn't keep on doing it. Do you understand? If you're not getting any reaction, you would stop doing it. If you're getting contenders, do you see what I mean? Or offers.
I don't know. I just feel.
Think about that.
I just feel if the woman should see the guy's profile, his face, his height, how, what qualifications he has, what job he does, does he own property and stuff like that, how stable he is in his life, and then talk to him and see whether the personalities match up and the humor matches up, and whether whether there's any chemistry there. And then if she is interested, and for her it's a deciding factor, I don't know, the size of his penis or something, then she could ask him, can you send me a picture, or with a tape measure. I don't know, if it was for a lot of people it is kind of important to them, the penis.
Is that, obviously you've got female friends, would you say that's a big thing about a man's ability to please?
I think there are certain things that need to be met, and this is like a bonus. It's like it is something important, but it's like a bonus. They would like to have a guy who is the right fit for them, sort of thing. Not every woman has every woman has their own idea of what is perfect or ideal for them. It's not a standard size or anything like that, but I think most women, they would put other things a little bit more prioritize, is the guy violent, is he going to swear at you or try to beat you, or does he have anger issues? Those things, those should be a deal breaker, no matter how nice his penis looks. And also things if he's trying to live off of her or get her to pay for things, he should be financially stable, he should be a gentleman, he should be he should be nice, and he should come across as someone who is nice, generous, and not a psycho or something like that. Okay. Maybe some women might say, okay, at least he should be financially stable, a generous, kind, even if his face was not that attractive, but he was tall enough, and down there in that region he was quite good, then they probably would overlook the face. But other women, they're quite into the face and not everything else, the body. So it depends. All the women, they're just individual.
Yeah, I hear you. You said you work in the
biomedical.
Explain what's that all about. You said it's about blood testing.
So the nurses or phlebotomists would take the blood sample from the patients, and then they also take blood samples at the GP when you're doing your routine bloods, and then they bring it to us in the laboratory, and then we basically process it, book it in, and then run it on the analyzers, get the results on our computer system, release it for the doctors to see, and so it helps the doctors to see whether the person has their diabetes under control, whether they've got some kidney issues, liver issues. Even newborns, they would have their bloods taken to make sure that their bilirubin is okay, they're not jaundiced, when they become yellow and everything because they can't process their mother's milk or whatever milk that was given to them, fed to them, things like that. So just to make sure that your bloods results are within the normal reference ranges, and there's nothing wrong with you. Even with heart attacks and things like that, they can, there are certain tests that they do to see whether you've had a heart attack, whether you're experiencing that. So it's just blood test results that we're processing and releasing.
I understand that. Yeah. So my mind went. What would you say you've learnt from working in that industry that you wish you knew when you had started?
I wish I knew that it would be very difficult to get a part-time position in this field. I wish I knew that it's almost impossible to get a 9-to-5 job in this field, that you definitely have to almost always have to take part in the night shift, weekend shifts, and that it was not family friendly, especially for a female, because when you deliver your baby, a newborn baby, it's not really healthy to hand the baby over, say, to your partner or your husband and go off to work the very next day, because obviously the research and science has shown that the baby would be traumatized, and they're more comfortable being near their own mother because they've been inside the womb for so long. So they're comfortable with the heartbeat, the body temperature, her voice, her tone. And obviously it's recommended to breastfeed the baby at least minimum, according to the NHS, for 6 months. So a man can't do that. The man would be kind of alien to the baby. So for that reason, I would think that as a female, I think biomedical science isn't really female friendly. It's more friendly for males rather than females. Although the work is very easy and you're typing things and on the computer and handling small tiny tubes of blood samples, it's not very laborious. But I think long term, when you're having kids and you're committed, they do give maternity leave and everything in this country, but after about a year, you're expected to return to work. I don't think it's, right to put a child who's a year old in, like some sort of childcare or daycare.
It's still a bonding process. I suppose that's left to discuss between your husband and you. If your husband's got a decent job that he can suffice for you two for that time, then that's ideal. In that respect.
But you'd lose your job because the maternity only covers, I think, maximum 12 months, and then you'd have to return to work, and if you didn't, you'd lose that position, and they would then advertise your role, your position, to someone else, and there'd be vacancies basically for someone else to fill. So you would lose your position. In places
you
like,
have to make a conscious decision then.
Yeah, and why would you pay someone else to look after your child? What was the point of having a child in the first place? As a mother and father, it's better for the child, healthier for the child, that their immediate relatives look after the child rather than put them in some sort of institution like daycare. It's been shown by research. A lot of people are actually quite angry about that research and what the science has said, but people don't want to come to terms with that, or admit that they don't want to feel like bad parents by leaving their children in daycare, and both parents are working and they're forced to do it. They have no other option. They have pressures of their mortgages and their life, so they don't want to hear that it's unhealthy to leave a child in daycare. They still want that option, even though the science has shown actually it's not good for your kids to be left in daycare. They have attachment issues, they have psychological issues growing up. They're not getting full one-on-one attention.
If you could do it all again, would you? Or would you do anything different?
I would go into teaching instead. Even though the pay isn't great compared to, biomedical science. Even biomedical science isn't a great pay either, but at least, it's up there, 35, 40. But with the teaching is only 25, 27, like that.
You can do teaching now.
Yeah.
Teach the science.
Yes, I'm trying to go into it now. I've applied actually to start in September, but I need to hear back from the places that I've applied to, do the training.
No.
Yeah.
They won't, because there's always a need for teachers.
Yeah.
So even if you took 2 years off, if you had another child, there'd still be a place left for you as a teacher.
Yeah.
When you come back.
Yeah, this is what I want. Yes, this is what I want. I realized that there's a shortage of teachers. It's easy to get the teaching jobs wherever you go, even if you took off 2-3 years for your children. But biomedical science, I wouldn't do it again, not as a woman. But for guys, I would definitely recommend they can go and do it. If I was a guy, I would do night shifts, because there's only like 3 nights in a row, and then you get the whole week off. I think 3 or 4 nights, and that's it. If you were living a single life and you could sleep during the day, you didn't have anyone else in your building, like in your house or something disturbing you, you could do that. If you were, like, I don't know, living in a studio or something, or a 1-bedroom flat, you could easily do that. Sleep during the day, go and do the night shift and get it done, because during the night it's very quiet. There's less people, obviously. This is only for urgent situations, people who just gave birth in the middle of the night, someone who had a heart attack in the middle of the night, someone who has collapsed. So the blood samples are not that much compared to the day shift. And you do some maintenance on the machines and get them ready for the day, people, and you don't have all your colleagues in your face. And sometimes, when you're working, you have these, like, they call them boardroom tactics, or games, basically, where people are playing each other off or throwing people under the bus. So you don't have people in your face trying to report. Yeah, that's the office politics. You don't have people trying to report you or trying to make problems for you. You feel more free. You can go on breaks, you can have your coffee. No one's watching you and your time. So long as you get the work done, that's fine.
I understand. Okay. You've been a great guest.
Thank you very much.
What's the impact you want to have in the world?
The impact? I don't know. I just feel like I can't impact anyone because I'm just one person. But whoever I come across, if they need any help or whatever, I always, anyone that comes up to me and asks me for money, I just give it. Yeah, I do. Whatever I have, like £1, £2, £5, £10, I just give it. I try to be positive. I try my best anyway. I try to always give the right advice that I would give to myself. I always try to speak honestly and sincerely based on my own life experience and to the best of my ability, basically. I'm not going to ever try to mislead anyone or give anyone bad directions or anything. If someone asks me where is the cafe or where is the train station, I would tell them genuinely. If I didn't know, I would just say no, I didn't know. But I wouldn't try to bluff it or let the person walk around in circles and give them the wrong directions. And I apply that in everything, in all aspects of my life. I just try to be good with the people that are directly in front of me.
Okay, that's good.
And donate as well. Donate to those countries that you can't reach, that you would probably never go to, or you can't ever afford to go to those countries. I would just donate, regularly if you can. And that's it. Like, just try your best. Do what you can within your limits.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for that. I will say, when it comes to giving money, I don't give money at all. I won't, especially not in this country. I will buy a child food if they're hungry, but I never give people money because everybody can work. When you've got disabled positions and disabled car parks, everybody can do something. And I'm not an advocate for being an enabler, encouraging people to beg and be lazy.
I just, when I look at some of these people, sometimes they look a bit very, very skinny, very haggard.
There's loads of charities out there as well that help people for addictions, help people who are homeless, help people, all different things.
I just feel like I'm not giving it like a huge amount which they can go and spend on alcohol or drugs or something. I just thought maybe they wanted a cup of coffee.
1p is 1p too many. Go towards drugs, you can go towards stuff that they don't need. Buy them the drink and you see how they think.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. Sometimes I say, you know what? I mean, here's a food place, maybe like some chicken and chips or something, and I'll just get that for you. Or should I buy a drink for you? Should I get a sandwich for you? And sometimes I do just buy the food for them. But if I'm in a rush, I'm rushing by. Sometimes I do actually give the money, but it's very little.
Okay, well, everybody does their thing a little way different. So that's a good thing. All right then, well, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you.
And we wish you well.
Thank you very much. Take care, bye.
We hope you liked that Taxi Chronicles interview. Don't forget to share and subscribe to get the latest episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economies and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. Listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. British Standard Time.